I just wanted to ask you, how did each of the four quarterbacks do tonight with handling kind of the live bullets and what comes with a scrimmage?
I thought the older guys, Jordan McKenzie, I thought they played very, very well. You know, they took care of the football. Obviously, anytime you're in a scrimmage situation, there's not going to be any extending of plays. There's not going to be any quarterback run game. So a few of the times, you know, that they were more aggressive running the ball in scramble situations, you know, they probably could have taken a 5-yard out. Instead, they tried to get more in the running game and got, you know, tagged for a 1 or 2 yard gain. But I was pleased with how they operated. There's a few things we obviously got to improve on. One thing is just tempo. You know, we've got to be able to play faster. And then the young guys, you know, it's live bullets and made some mistakes. You know, they got to take care of the football. And they just need reps. I mean, that's part of being a young guy is you need those live bullet reps where nobody's on the field and it's just you and your guys. But got to get better with the young guys taking care of the football, but that's part of being young, and I was pleased with the older guys. And I'll add one more note to that. I thought I think Gino English has been doing a really nice job. Really nice job for us. He's a hard worker, and every time he gets an opportunity to go out there, he does something positive.
One of the things that Coach Norvell mentioned was that, you know, early on in the scrimmage, there were some mistakes on offense, but he felt like the offense really responded. Is that something that how pleased are you compared to maybe a year ago where maybe the team as a whole struggled sometimes when things didn't go well?
Well, it's exactly right. I mean, we kind of tried to play like a football game in our mind. We ended up getting 10 series with the first group. And, you know, the first half, the first 5 of those series, you know, penalty, turnover, one play turnover on a fumble. And we didn't execute. Every time we'd have a play, it wasn't that we weren't being productive. We'd have productive plays, but we would then have a false start or an illegal formation, right? Or we would take a sack, right? We would take those negatives and set us back, right? So that first series, we had 1 field goal and got down to the 8-yard line and got negative, and ended up kicking a field goal in the first 5 series. The second half, we went out there, we executed, and we scored 4 touchdowns. And the only time we didn't score was when we had a penalty. And it's great for our guys to, one, get that adversity to show that, okay, we did respond, right? But 2, right, what can we do and how good can we be if we stay out of our own way? We've been better than that in the spring, but when you're out there without coaches, when you're out there without people helping you, right, that's when you really got to lock in on the detail, and that's what we got to clean up.
You look at the receivers, it seemed like a lot of different guys on different days have kind of been that guy to step up. I know Coach Norvell talked about Keyshawn had a big play tonight. Who stood out to you from that group tonight?
Keyshawn Helton. That's him. He stood out, and I couldn't be happier for a person because that dude is I mean, he is a Seminole. I mean, he is a Seminole. Every day he shows up to work. Every day he does everything we asked him to do. And to see him have some success today, he broke us down as an offense afterwards, and I was very, very excited for Keyshawn.
This will be Gene Williams from Warchant.
Hey, Coach. Kurt, I want to ask about Keyshawn as well. Kurt got me there. So let me ask you about the offensive line, kind of how they've held up. I know you guys have been moving a lot of different guys in there, trying different combinations. How did they perform today's scrimmage, and how that helped the offense?
I think they did a nice job. I mean, I think they've grown a lot, obviously, having everybody back and adding a few pieces. The continuity is there. The communication is there. That you can see our guys aren't having to think as much when the picture changes, that they kind of know what's going to happen. They know what the guy to the left of them is going to do. They know what the guy to the right of them is going to do. It's not the, I hope he does this. It's the, I have confidence he's going to do it. Now, were there situations where we got off on a snap late? Yes. Were there situations where we could play faster? Yes. But from a whole, I've been happy with the progress they've made. I think Coach Atkins does a phenomenal job. Everybody talks about Coach Atkins as a recruiter. I think people need to think about Coach Atkins as the coach who can recruit. He's a football coach that can recruit.
Coach, how were the running backs looking tonight, especially in an environment where, like as you said, quarterbacks are hampered and don't present as much as a rushing threat?
Jashaun Corbin. That's what I got to say about that. Jashaun Corbin showed flashes of why we brought him here. He showed flashes of that starter at a high level at a young age. And, you know, he went through a time where he had to get healthy, and he went through that year, first year back. And today was the best I have seen him run since he's been on this campus. And what's even more exciting to see him run is seeing his big old smile when he knows he feels good and knows he feels like he's getting it back. He's getting back to being 100%, back to being fully healthy and comfortable again. And I'm just so happy for that kid.
Next will be Austin Cox from Warchant.
Hey, Coach. I hope you're doing well. Going back to the offensive line, Coach Norvell mentioned he was happy with Lloyd Willis. You know, how do you feel about the depth at tackle right now in particular? And, you know, how important is that for the offense?
That's essential. I mean, tackle's the most, and it's the second highest position paid on offense in the NFL for a reason, right? And so it's essential. And the depth, you know, a guy like Lloyd, I mean, we're counting on him to be in that depth. We're counting on him to step up. And the one thing I'll say about Lloyd is, in years past, he's been, you know, he's had some banged up and he's missed some practices. This year, he's faced a little bit of adversity, but he hasn't missed reps. He's fought through it. He's starting to grow up. And I think that is the biggest thing when you have these young tackles, is it's probably the hardest position to get on the field early. I know we had it in Rob Scott, and that's like, what is it, like the white elephant or whatever that's, the white buffalo, whatever that saying is, right? That's Rob Scott. But you have Lloyd over here who has all these skills, who just is continuing to get better and better and better and better. And he's starting to put in the work ethic needed to do that. So we need him, and he is starting to progress.
All right, next we'll go back to Kurt.
Going back to the running backs, we've seen Treshaun Ward obviously is a new guy on scholarship this year. It seems like every practice he kind of has at least the one big run. I know JP talked about how big is he on special teams. Just what can you say about what he brings just in all facets to this team?
He's a dog. That's what he brings. You can see the big runs. You can see all that stuff. But that dude loves the game, and that dude is competitive. And you can't underestimate competitive people. I mean, we took the running backs bowling. And yes, I'm going to call them out. The quarterbacks beat them in bowling, quarterbacks versus running backs. And I think Ward every day, from every week at least, has said, when are we going bowling again? When are we going bowling again? When are we going bowling again? And it sounds like something stupid. It sounds like something small. But in order to win, you have to have guys who want to win. You have to have guys who want to compete. And that's a guy who loves to compete. And it shows up. That's why he's great on special teams. That's why he was a walk-on. That's dominated on the scout team, that wound up playing for us, that proved his worth in spring, that's built his way up in fall camp, is because that's all he knows how to do. All he knows how to do is work, and all he knows how to do is compete to win. And those are the guys we want to our left and our right.
Next will be Aslan Pajamandi from Warchant.
Hey, Coach, I know Coach Norvell's mantra is 1% better. You're trying to get everybody out there 1% better every day, but as an offense, do you look around and feel, if I can just get 3 or 4 of these guys to make a real big jump, or 5 or 6 of these guys, we'll be in a much better place? Or is that not the mentality of a OC or a coach?
Yeah, we're just trying to get 1% better. I'm just kidding, but we are. I mean, it's both, but we're trying to get 1% better, but there are guys that we need to step up. We need Lloyd Willis to step up and be a tackle that we can count on, right? We need wideouts to step up and be guys that can win one-on-ones, right? Tight ends, the depth, who's going to be in our 3 to 40, the tight end that we can count on when we're in 12, 13, 14 personnel, whatever personnel groupings we're in. So there are a few guys that we need to step up. But at the same time, the unique thing about our team is I think we have a very balanced team in terms of, regardless of the personnel grouping, I think we're very balanced. And the mantra of 1% better, it's going to come down to what position groups continue to work, what position groups continue to finish, so we can find out the best 5 to put on the field come game day.
All right, next we'll go back to Ira. We got time for 2 more.
You know, looking historically, I know, for example, Florida State, freshman wide receivers traditionally haven't had a lot of big years. And I look back in your guys' offenses, the Memphis didn't have a lot of true freshmen, super productive. For a guy like Malik McLean or Josh Burrell or some of those guys, what do you have to do as a true freshman to kind of make a bigger impact at that position?
Just got to come in here and work and learn the offense. And this is not an easy. This is a NFL offense, a pro style offense that plays fast. So take all those places you can be on the field. Our wideouts can be in the field slot, boundary slot, the X receiver, the Z receiver, the number 3 receiver. They have to be all over it's not just go line up in the boundary to the left, or you're the outside receiver to the right. You're the outside receiver to the left. They've got to learn it all. They've got to learn football. So that's a reason for us that our guys that we've signed are smart football players, is because we want to be able to move them around. So those guys got to come in here and learn the system, which because they were early enrollees, I think they have. Then they got to work, and they got to prove that we can make plays. And I think both those guys have proven that.
Last one will be Tom Lang from Warchant.
Hey, Coach, I'm curious, after a week of practice and obviously the scrimmage tonight, you've mentioned a lot of guys that have stood out, but in your mind, who has been the most consistent from start to finish to this point in camp?
Most consistent. I don't know if I could give one. I think there's been a few guys that have been. I think Jordan Travis has been very consistent. I think Keyshawn Helton has been very consistent. I could go. I think the running back group has been very consistent. I think a lot of our guys have been very consistent, to be honest. I mean, it's very, our guys are starting to learn the importance of practice and habits. When we got back from the start of fall camp, we showed last year to spring and the growth we've made on certain plays. And this is what we did last year, the same call versus the same look. This is what we did in spring, same call versus the same look. And look at the difference in execution. And our guys are starting to believe in that. It's not just, let's all go out there and get ours and make a play. They're starting to learn that we all need each other. And if we all work together, if we all utilize each other's skill sets, right, we're all going to make plays.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.